Hi, hello there, Internet. It's been a while. So basically what happened was the spring semester started. I'm still in grad school. I decided to take a full load of classes while also working full time. Before the spring semester started, I recorded 2 videos that I meant to put on YouTube, and then I would go and look at them in editing and I'd be like, oh my God, that's so much work. That's so intimidating. It's so much. And then I would go and look at the homework that I have to do for my classes. I'm like, that's too intimidating. That's too much. I don't know. I'm struggling. So, yeah, that's where I am. And then some of you guys on YouTube got me invested in this fucking trash show on this trash network.
I didn't mean to have sex with somebody else, but physical touch is so important to me, and I just don't have anybody.
I make a point of not watching too much TLC or really any TLC at all.
So I found a social media page called Asian Men, White Women, and that is where I found my Asian prince.
Okay, here we go. We have Ella from Idaho, and she wants to date an Asian prince who lives in China, even though when she was describing everything that she loves about Asia, she was mostly describing Japanese things.
Of course, he's got to be Asian. I think Japanese movies were really a big inspiration, like the samurai movies. I love just how they looked in their samurai outfits with their long, luscious hair, their eyes, their face, their skin tone. I love everything about them.
But like I said, not a big fan of TLC. So for all I know, maybe they did Ella dirty with some editing. Maybe she talked about other Asian countries that she liked and they just decided, oh, wouldn't it be funny if we just had her talk exclusively about Japan and then introduce her boyfriend who's actually from China and not from Japan? I don't know. Apparently, Rosie, the girl who was engaged to Big Ed, they fabricated a story where her sister asked for money, according to Rose.
My anime posters. I think the reason why I just always gravitated towards fantasy is because I wanted to escape my real life.
So a couple of things jump out at me. At the very beginning of this, I really tried very hard not to judge Ella too harshly because her entire personality is just cringe city. She's like this character from the cringe video. I don't want to make fun of her, especially when all of that anime is her happy place that she goes to because she was bullied so much.
I have struggled with being overweight since I was in kindergarten. Growing up, I never felt like I was different, but other people, damn it. Other people made me feel different.
She is from Idaho Falls, Idaho, which is a very... There's something in my fucking eye. There's an eyelash. Homogenous. So I can see where we can have a fetishization thing happening when you live in a very homogenous place and you see people of a different culture as very exotic and cool and interesting. I remember maybe a decade ago I watched this video about girls in Japan who were really interested in Black lifestyle.
ベビーシュープはブラックフォーライフっていうのがコンセプトでブラックカルチャーもリスペクトみたいな感じなんですけどやっぱ音楽とファッションとダンスはもう日本人じゃないっぽくするっていう感じもあるかなとは B 系は。
They were really into rap music. They wanted to get tans and have box braids and all of that shit. And the way I rationalized it was like, you know, maybe these people just like never met a Black person in their life. Everybody else that they know is Japanese, and so they're introduced to Black culture through rap music, and it's their favorite type of music, and their favorite celebrities are Black, and they all seem really cool. And I guess I can see that they would idealize a culture in that way, and it's problematic, but at the same time, when you compare Miss Ella from Idaho to Ella's mom,
It's not a fairy tale. And I know you want the fairy tale, but it's just, it doesn't
Fairy
work that
tales don't
way.
exist.
Exactly. And there's been a lot of American women that have been taken advantage of from men from out of the country. And I don't want to see you get your heart broken again. I've lived through quite a few of them. That's why it's real hard to trust that this is the real thing for you.
Like, ooh, I don't trust Johnny. I don't trust these foreigners. He's gonna come over and take advantage of a good American woman like you just for the green card.
我感觉一开始艾拉是陪我走过了我这个比较困难的时候，比方说这个离异很久，而且是一直是感情方面冰封，不可能是再找个别人认识。
When clearly he appears to be a good guy. Of course, this is TLC. I would not be surprised if several episodes in the future we're going to find out a deep, dark secret about Johnny that completely changes our perspective on him. But so far, he seems like a great guy.
I believe Johnny wants to come over here for me, not to just be a U.S. citizen. I've never had somebody so protective and nice. And the way that I feel right now is definitely something I've never felt before.
Too good for Ella.
These two had many obstacles in their relationship that prevented them from meeting in person. And when we last saw them, Ella revealed that she had slept with another man. Take a look.
We'll get to that later. Oh, and I don't want you going to Dubai. You're white. We can't have that. The fuck?
I'm not real thrilled with the idea of you going to Dubai because you're going to be by yourself and you're a woman and you're white and you're naive. So I just don't like this.
Yeah, Middle East and that is not a real conducive, good place to go right at the moment.
We do have some ignorance going on. We do have some stereotyping and othering of people, kind of dehumanizing, but Ella's is more...
But my obsession with Asian culture is so much more than just cosplay. I love fantasy.
Another reason why I didn't want to judge her is because I knew this was coming from a place of pain.
My classmates always made me feel unwanted. I hated going to school.
She got really into anime and Japanese culture and shit because she has struggled with her weight her entire life and she was made fun of because of her weight and she just retreated into fantasy world. Problem with that is that Japan is not a fantasy world. It is in fact a country with one of the lowest obesity rates in the world. America has a very high obesity rate. And I just happened to notice that most of the people in Ella's social circle are also overweight over in Idaho Falls.
他吃饭吃得多吗？
他吃饭反正就是吃的美国嘛，好多都是热量特别高，
对，
甜点啊，什么巧克力啊，然后当然吃肉啊。
因为你像咱这样吃，咱在中国咱也不一定吃的那么干净。可在那个地方人家就是这样的生活习惯。咱这个饮食呢，就是咱中医来讲是过食肥厚。
The one guy who is around her size is also Asian, which is interesting because she wants her Asian prince Johnny to come over and cook her healthy meals. And she's like, of course it's healthy. They eat vegetables and...
He's very supportive. Like, even with the weight, he said, I will help and support you to lose weight. We've talked about healthier meals and he's going to do the cooking. You know, I mean, he's Asian, so it's like freaking healthy. Just a lot of vegetables and stuff.
I also happened to notice in scrolling through her Instagram and also in the pictures that they show us on 90 Day Fiancé before the 90 days, it seems like she only recently got as big as she was. She was overweight previously. Like they show pictures of her in college, in high school, as a kid. Yeah, she was overweight, but not more so than the other people in town. And it seems like it's only been a recent problem when she went from maybe overweight, obese to morbidly obese, possibly super morbidly obese. I know that's a sensitive issue, but that's another thing because like she gets very invested in Asian culture and not an expert on Asian culture, but it appears that weight is not dealt with as sensitively over there as it is here in America. But you know, I was proud of Ella. It looked like she was going to the gym for a while. Yeah, it did appear that she waited a week until Johnny said he was going to come to go to the gym.
I'm definitely looking forward to when he's here, but before Johnny gets here, I would like to lose at least 10 pounds. Hopefully 20, but at least 10. So that's why I am going to the gym right now to work out.
But she was proactive and she decided to go to the gym, and I'm proud of her for that.
So Ella, what's your fitness goals looking like?
I have a boyfriend coming over from China.
Oh, wow, that's exciting.
Yeah, so I want to lose 10 pounds before he gets here because I'm worried that if he gets here, I'm like too big, or you know, all the stuff that women go through. So
Okay.
Her reasonings for going to the gym and her feelings about her weight all seem wrapped up in this idea that I'm not worthy to other men. Other men find me undesirable because of my weight.
I do feel that my weight really changes the way them guys react to me. If I were smaller, I guarantee you that I would be a hot chick and that men would be over me like syrup on pancakes.
I know you're not happy with how you look. I know that. I just want to make sure that he doesn't take advantage of that. Because it will be a struggle for you to lose the weight.
No, I know.
When he gets here and he sees the smorgasbord, is he going to stick with it?
Well, you know, I am a catch, but I am not the catch.
That's what I'm worried about.
It's so important that Johnny is attracted to me. And even though Johnny has said he loves me as I am now, I have been learning that he is not very direct. Like, he tries to say things in the most polite way and to not offend anybody. And so sometimes I'm worried that Johnny just tells me things that I want to hear when it comes to my appearance.
And so she wants to lose weight, apparently solely for that. Again, maybe she brought up other reasons why she wanted to lose weight that I just haven't heard because maybe it was edited out or whatever, but doesn't seem as concerned about health. She mentions like, oh my God, I'm almost 30 and I'm not even married yet. But one of the reasons why it would be important to lose weight if she wants to have children, wanting to be there a long time for her future children, including Johnny's child.
说个实话呢，另一个，我和Ella说，她已经就是准备好了做是生活的母亲。
我叫周艺轩，5岁，我喜欢吃冰淇淋。
My own dad, who was morbidly obese, died in his 50s, and you know, there's a shorter life expectancy with people who are super morbidly obese, especially when you consider this pandemic that it does target obese people more heavily. Though, speaking of the pandemic, not just by omission, but from what we've actually seen from Ella, she doesn't seem to really care about the pandemic or think that it's that big of a deal at all. But we will get back to that later. So Ella's very excited to meet her Asian prince. She has a friend who is married to an Asian guy, and what the fuck, you know? How the fuck do you talk to an Asian person if you're not even into anime? Like, what?
Corby, if she's not an anime person, she's like not into any of this Asian stuff. And that's what I gave her when they got married and stuff. I was like, dude, like, what the heck? You didn't like Asians. That's my thing.
I found out later that Ella was called out for this on Instagram. She just was like, oh no, I'm not going to invite any negativity by like acknowledging that that criticism might be completely valid. But people might be saying, oh, well, they're kind of fetishizing each other because, yes, Ella loves Asians, but Johnny purposefully looked for an American. Therefore, it's equal, you know? But I will say, Johnny actually took the time to learn English. Is Ella taking the time to learn Chinese?
So now there are very limited women living here, and it's hard to find someone that accept a single dad. So I think American women is better for me.
And also, Johnny is living in China, and there was a one-child policy. And because of that one-child policy, and because families prefer to have a son over a daughter, there are more Chinese men in China than there are Chinese women. So then there's higher competition for Johnny in order for Johnny to find a Chinese woman. The Chinese women who are out there do not really want to have a man who's already been divorced and has a kid.
一直就从你开始和艾拉拉对象就担心，一失败，咱这一段慎重，得慎重，得考虑。
另一个就是第一段婚姻，怎么就失败了呢？对吧？你为什么失败？
Now, Johnny's mom wants Johnny to find a Chinese girl, and I'm like, oh no. That's so frustrating to me because we hear from Johnny that the reason why things didn't work out with his ex-wife, the mom kept fighting with her daughter-in-law, drove her away, drove them to get a divorce. And I'm like, how dare you? How dare you complain when Johnny is dating a white woman and saying, why can't you just date a Chinese woman instead? You're the reason why his past relationship with his Chinese ex-wife didn't work out. You're part of the reason why he's now damaged goods to other Chinese women. You do not get to complain now. I hope you reflect on your behavior. Because if you had made more of an effort to get along with your ex-daughter-in-law, he wouldn't be with Ella right now.
婆媳关系就中国自古以来到现在就是个难题，来了就是互相斗争。My parents and my ex-wife, they do not get along. They always have a lot of quarrel, and it got so bad. This is definitely one of the reasons I divorced in last marriage.
So there's that. But also, Johnny wants to be with an American woman because he loves American culture. He loves American women. He thinks that American women are so independent. And when I heard that, I was like, does that describe Ella?
I always attracted by American women because I think they are very independent.
哎，你好，大夫，我来抓一下药。
And they are very sexy.
I have to say this over and over again. Yes, I don't trust TLC. I take what I see from TLC with a grain of salt. But I'm just saying, this woman needed a ticket to Dubai. She asked her parents for permission. She started tearing up.
You still have your house payment, your car payment. So I'm really afraid about the finances.
If I go and if money gets tight, can I depend on you guys to help me?
I love you and I've helped you out so many times.
I know.
Girl, you are 29 years old.
But she is my one and only daughter. So I'm going to be supportive.
That's not what a strong and independent young woman does.
I feel like my mother's going to kill me. This is a huge risk for me. I'm putting myself out there yet again, spending money that I don't have, and there's no guarantee that Johnny will actually come. But I definitely love him enough that I am willing to risk it all just to meet the love of my life.
She works at a family ranch. Johnny has no experience working at a ranch, and in order to come to America, he would stop renting the place that he lives, he would quit his job, he'd be away from his son for 3 months.
I feel it's such hard decision to be so far away from my son. I'm really so nervous about that.
He would travel to America where then he would work on a family farm, which he has no family ranch, but ranch is a type of farm. I Googled it because this is not my area of expertise. He has no experience doing that.
Has Johnny ever ridden a horse or seen a cow?
No, he has no experience on anything like this. But he likes that we have so much in common, and he likes that I'm hardworking and stuff like that.
He works at like an electronical car manufacturing or something. Completely different field.
I was talking to Mom, and she is worried you won't like the ranch life.
For me, I think ranch life is a small part of the life.
Well, I think that ranch life would be a big part of our life.
It's one thing if you're looking for a partner, it doesn't matter what their job is, just like as long as they have a job and they're able to support themselves, they're able to support their families, etc. But it's another thing when you're not just looking for a romantic partner, you are also looking for a business partner within the same person.
I grew up on a ranch in Mackay, Idaho that has been in my family for 4 generations. Hey! I spend most of my weekends there, and I'm hoping that one day Johnny and I can get married and take over the ranch together.
There's a dating site for you, Ella. If you want your future husband to be somebody who will take over the ranch with you, go on Farmers Only. Go look for somebody who has experience working on a ranch. That makes the most sense. But it was more important for her to fulfill her fantasy of having an Asian man.
So because I've not had a lot of luck with Idaho dating, I decided to stop looking for men in Idaho. Good boy. And start looking for my fantasy.
Now, I know from my tone that I sound annoyed. I wasn't this annoyed when I first started watching because I was like, okay, yeah, this is cringe city, it's problematic, but it's not the worst thing in the world, especially when you look at some of the other couples on this show. I mean, Jimena takes the cake. This girl said her baby daddy number 2 is in jail.
Yo lo amé mucho. Y entonces fui a la cárcel, lo visité. Se me metió en la cabeza de que yo quería tener un hijo. Ponía los pies hacia arriba para que el feto quedara en embarazo. Y quedé en embarazo en la segunda visita a la cárcel.
When she said that baby daddy number 2 was in jail, I thought she meant she had a boyfriend, she got pregnant by him, and then he was carted off to jail. She met this dude while he was in jail. She took herself to jail and purposefully tried to get pregnant. I've never heard of that before. Who does that? You should surround your children with good, positive role models, not hitmen, not drug dealers. So just like from hearing that and then seeing Ella.
I love her, and I love that I'm her #1 Asian man.
Okay, what the fuck ever. She likes anime and then she decided to date an Asian guy. Whoop-de-damn-do. At the end of the day, she seems really excited for Johnny. She seems like she loves him. Yeah, their relationship maybe is a little cringe, but is it the worst thing in the world? No. No.
I know that Johnny is risking a lot to come over here to be with me, and sometimes I really worry that he might decide that I'm not worth all the sacrifice, and that is really terrifying to me because I definitely have put a lot of my eggs in this one basket.
But then she decided to get all whiny because Johnny couldn't come to America because of COVID, and she was not understanding, and she cheated on him.
I need attention. I need physical attention. And when you have been going back and forth with this, I called over a friend and talked with him and cuddled with him. And we ended up having sex.
And that just changed my whole perspective of her. And I think that changed the perspective of a lot of people because a lot of people were definitely judging her hardcore in the beginning. But I could see the comments on the YouTube channels. Like you see the comments where Ella is trying to work out, trying to look good for Johnny.
It's definitely hard for me to go to the gym because I feel like everybody's watching me. A lot of the time my anxiety gets too bad and I have to leave. I just hope that Johnny can appreciate what I'm doing to look my best for him.
Oh, Ella, don't feel embarrassed. I'm so proud of you. I think that this is actually a cute couple. I'm not just watching for the cringy aspects, hoping that they break up. Like, I actually want these two people to work things out.
Ella, how would you have felt if Johnny had told you he had slept with someone else? because of the long distance and he could not handle it.
But no, I would not have been mad. I would not have been upset. I would have been understanding from the start. I wouldn't have even freaked out.
But then when she got all whiny, inconsiderate, she wasn't very understanding, she would freak out on Johnny for not coming to America. That's when people's perspectives started to turn for her. So her boy Johnny lives in China, where he supports his whole family. He supports his son Stoney.
But I worry about Stoney for him. That time in the hospital, he may need my help. And because like COVID, flights from America to China, there are very few, very limited. So once I fly out, it's gonna be a big challenge to fly back.
He supports both of his parents and he supports himself. But in order to go to America, he would have to quit his job.
你现在事业嘛正处于上升期，你就舍得跑家舍业的去上美国找艾拉去吗？
你就要保那一边儿，你反正你要保工作，你这个是吧？你这个恋情这个之类的保不住。你要是保爱情，你工作必然得扔，你现在就是矛盾的。
And he would also have to quarantine before going there and then on the way back. And then he's also worried about the bill from the hospital if he were to get COVID. All very realistic concerns, but things that Ella just does not care about.
Right now, China restrictions are not allowing me to go to China. So my plan is to show Johnny that I am willing to take as much risk as he is risking by buying a ticket and going to meet him in Dubai.
She tried to compromise by saying, okay, if you don't want to come to America, we can meet each other halfway in Dubai. And she told him that after she bought the ticket.
Johnny has no idea that I'm doing this, but I'm hoping that booking my ticket lights a fire under his ass to get over to Dubai to meet me in person.
We see her buy the ticket and then we see her set up a video call and say, oh, hey, I already bought a ticket with money I don't have.
It's gonna be hard.
But it's hard for me to have to go to Dubai, so we'll both be making sacrifices.
It's not the same thing. The sacrifice that we saw you make was that you got all teary-eyed and you got all choked up when you were asking mommy to help you out financially. If something happens to him, does he have a brother who can take care of his parents? No, because of the one-child policy. It's his job to support his entire family.
也是算是有依靠吧。你走了，俺也没依靠了，就说你就是顶梁柱，在咱家的。美国是不是好找工作，不好找工作，俺也担心，是吧？你没工作，你就没经济来源嘛。
His Singapore visa got denied. He couldn't go to Dubai because he was worried about quarantining for a very long time and not being able to make money for a very long time just to have a very short meeting.
If I want to go abroad, it's going to be like a long quarantine for me. 5 weeks in China.
But it's doable.
And she takes that super personally, and it's so annoying.
I'm starting to feel like you really didn't want to come in the first place, is what I feel.
No. Maybe why shouldn't we wait a little bit more longer?
I want to meet now.
She threatened to sleep with other people.
So did you at least like give him that, like say, hey, if this is it?
Many times.
Okay.
Many times. I said, like, if you're not going to do this, then I'm like going to see other people. I told that to him several times.
And then later told Johnny that she had slept with somebody else.
I need physical attention. And when you have been going back and forth with this, I called over a friend and we ended up having sex.
What?
I didn't mean for that to happen. It just happened because I was so distraught and so upset.
But like, it wasn't planned. It wasn't premeditated, and she didn't mean for it to happen. It was like,
I am going to start looking at other options. Like having an open relationship.
If you didn't mean for it to happen, then why would you give him warning ahead of time?
That is no mistake in my
So
dictionary.
Ella, my question is, and be honest, okay? Did you actually cheat on him
or it was just a way to put some pressure on him, like, oh, she's gonna be other guys, and now I need to travel to the United States. Let's be honest, did you actually cheat on him?
So that's Jasmine asking that question, and the tell-all that ended later. And to be honest, I wondered the same thing, and I thought that it was really funny that Jasmine asked that question because she was this type of person who was like, oh, my boyfriend breathed next to another woman, that's cheating. He looked at another woman, that's cheating. He played with his pee-pee without me, that's cheating.
Playing with the pee-pee without me, to me, it is cheating.
Jasmine, why do you consider that cheating?
I have discovered that Gino prefers to masturbate rather than making love to me.
Gino, is that true?
Yes, it is.
True.
But then when it came to Ella, she was like, are you sure you actually cheated? Did you just say that so that he'll feel that he has to come to the US right away, that his relationship is in jeopardy, it's his emergency situation, he'll drop everything in China and come to you immediately? And I was like, that's exactly what I was thinking. That's exactly what I was thinking. You are a genius, Jasmine.
I definitely think that Johnny would be risking losing me if I have to keep waiting. Just because, like, I want somebody now. I've waited for 29 years, and that's all I ever wanted, is to be with somebody and to love somebody and have them love me just as much.
I do think that she did tell him that so that he would want to come, because she waited until after Johnny said that he wouldn't come until February in order to say, I need to tell you that I slept with somebody else. Why didn't she say that at the beginning of the call? Because she wanted to use that as bait to lure him over.
Let me do this. You give me your finger size. I want to buy you a diamond ring. What do you think about that?
It'd still be better if you were here.
Another thing that could have happened, maybe she did sleep with somebody else, but maybe it wasn't the way that it happens. Like, oh, she called over this close friend who cuddled with her and they just happened to have sex. Like, maybe she went on a dating website and hooked up with somebody there. She was like actively seeking out somebody to sleep with in order to punish Johnny, or in order to make her feel whole because she needs that male attention.
I think a little bit that my self-worth is tied up in male physical attention because of my insecurities. And so the fact that I've been alone a year and a half, it's been hard.
But also she did mention how all of her other friends are married. And I kept thinking, wait, she's saying that she slept with a close friend. Why isn't she dating that close friend instead? Well, one, she said that local dating hadn't worked out for her. That's why she decided to fulfill her fantasy and find somebody online.
I did not date in high school, but I have been in a lot of relationships where I was not treated the way that I should have been. So because I've not had a lot of luck with Idaho dating, I decided to stop looking for men in Idaho.
Even though the guy that she met online is on the other side of the planet and can't give her that physical touch that she craves.
And I need it to be known, my love language is touch. And 2 years is a really long time to have to wait. Really long time.
Then maybe
then you shouldn't be in a long distance relationship if you're that vulnerable, and don't put yourself in that situation.
I mean, maybe the issue with her other relationships that didn't work out wasn't that oh, they were too local or whatever. It was more like she was the common denominator in all of her failed relationships. I was talking about option number 3, wasn't I? She said that she slept with a close friend, but all of her friends are married. Did she sleep with a married guy?
Why would you call a man to come spend your birthday
Because
with you?
everybody bailed on me. Everybody bailed on me all the time.
Are you a grown adult? Do you need people to cuddle you? You can't spend your birthday with yourself?
She mentioned in the tell-all that her friends did not spend her birthday with her. Did her friends not spend her birthday with her because she slept with one of their husbands? Is that what happened? But also, if she did sleep with one of her friends and say it was a single guy, we needed more information about this guy. Is this guy in her group of friends? Is this somebody that she sees regularly? Is this somebody that she's going to continue to see? We didn't get enough information about that. So that's why I was thinking that this was a George Glass kind of character, somebody that she made up just to make him jealous enough and feel that it's urgent enough to come to America.
So what I learned after Indian Guy is I'm like, you know what? Until we meet, I can't fully trust Johnny. I'm really hoping that Johnny is different, but it does creep up in my mind that in person, he may be surprised by how big I am and then not like me anymore.
She's insecure about her weight, as we've talked about before, and she worries that if he sees her in person, he will think that she's too big for him, and so she wants him to see her in person and to know that he will accept her and want to have sex with her and all of that other stuff.
I have that fear with Johnny that he'll get here and he'll be like, you know what, you are bigger than I thought. I can't do this. So, but I have expressed that fear and he has reassured me that he will not do that. So, but I mean, talk is cheap. Sometimes. Most times.
Because she was dating an Indian guy before she was with Johnny, but then when she met him, she says that he didn't want to do anything sexual.
I was in an online relationship with an Indian guy for about a year before we met in Thailand. I was in love with this guy, but then when we met in person, he refused to do anything sexual with me. And I really think that it was because of my weight. It definitely took a toll on my self-esteem. And it's really hard for me to think about.
Again, that is her side of the story. I would love to know this guy's side of the story, because when Johnny said that he wasn't going to come and he talked about COVID, he brought up, I don't want to go bankrupt. And she was like, well, it's pretty clear you've made up your mind. You don't want to come, when that wasn't what he said. He brought up very good reasons why he wasn't coming, and she internalized that and said, you don't want to come because you don't really love me. So when it came to like her last ex-boyfriend who didn't want to have sex with her, I do question if maybe she wanted to have sex on day one, the first day they physically meet, whereas he, coming from a very different culture where you would take things slower than what we would do in America, maybe he just wants to take things slow, and she interpreted that to mean, oh, you don't really want me then. As much as she is interested in Asian culture, she doesn't seem very interested in learning about Asian cultures and learning about the differences and embracing those differences, with the differences being a difference between individualistic culture, like what we have in America, versus collectivist culture, which is more commonly found in Asian cultures. Family's very big deal. You don't just think of your own happiness first, you also have to think about your family, society, all of that, everybody's happiness as a whole. And she doesn't seem to really grasp that or care about that. And she does later talk to Pao, and he explains that family is very important to Asian people. And I was like, you deliberately sought out an Asian guy. Shouldn't you already know that? Shouldn't you already be accepting of that and want to have something like that in your partner, since that's what you signed up for when you sought out an Asian guy? But again, it's not really about wanting an Asian guy. It's about wanting to fulfill a fantasy that she's had since she was in kindergarten or something. So
my ideal man, it would probably be an exact blueprint of my favorite anime crush.
I don't think this is gonna work out, but I will say too, when we talk about like yellow fever and stuff, sometimes people who want to seek out Asian people, usually Asian women, but I think this can apply to Asian men too. They want somebody who is more accommodating, more submissive, because that's what the stereotype is.
Are you mad at me?
No, because like it's complicated.
As opposed to like with black people, the stereotype is very masculine for men, but also for women. When you want to insult black women, people usually call them men. Yeah, so more masculine, more hypersexual, more aggressive, that sort of thing. And it seems like the opposite is true with Asian people. And sometimes when people seek out Asian people, they want a doormat, essentially.
I'm so blessed to have him. He was so understanding, and he loves me, and that's why I will wait for him. Yeah, I'm gonna marry that man.
And I know some people are going to say, hey, not all Asian people are accommodating or, submissive and so on and so forth. I know that for people like Johnny, I do worry that he'll get taken advantage of.
Hey, baby. Yes. How is your feeling now?
I feel like I'm really sorry about my birthday.
It doesn't matter. I do not blame you. It's not your fault.
Ella seems to be the type of person who gets what she wants by crying. She didn't have the finances to go to Dubai. Her mom didn't want her to go to Dubai. But she got really choked up when she talked to her mommy. And her mommy swiped her credit card at the tell-all. Everybody was roasting her.
I just offered it instead of the hotel because he wanted to save money. I just honestly was just trying to be nice to him.
So, Ella, you're saying that you told Johnny that this guy spent the night?
I did, and we talked about everything. And I told him everything that happened.
Ella, I think you're sorry.
They were roasting her for cheating on Johnny, which was exactly what she deserved.
That was a rough listen.
Yeah.
If a guy buys a plane ticket and comes all the way to another city to spend the night, and he knew where he was spending the night because you got to get a hotel before.
Right.
So they talked about it.
She said 2 years is a really long time to wait. She got all choked up.
2 years is a really long time to have to wait. Really long time.
Jasmine crossed her arms. You could see from their body language that this crying was not going to work on them. But it worked on Johnny after the tell-all.
I shouldn't have done that. I just really wanted to have a good birthday. That's all I wanted.
It's all right. I still want to try and still want to meet you, baby.
She was crying and he was completely reassuring her, even though she should have been the one reassuring him. So frustrating.
Johnny and I officially became boyfriend and girlfriend about 6 months ago. But we have been talking for a year and a half.
By the way, I wanted to point out a couple of things. One, she said 2 years is a really long time to wait. As I mentioned before, I looked through her Instagram. Remember how she had the Indian boyfriend who she went all the way to Thailand to meet?
She had an online relationship with an India guy who she met in Thailand. That didn't work out at all. And it was hard for her to get over that. It was hard for me to see her go through that, and I really don't want to see her go through that again.
Looks like the Thailand trip happened in December of 2019. And in the beginning, when they're introducing Johnny and Ella, Ella says that she and Johnny have only been together for 6 months, but they've been talking for 2 years. So that makes me think that she was talking to Johnny while she was still dating the Indian ex-boyfriend.
For me, I didn't think that he would come. And so I thought it was over. And I know I up. I owned it. Did I not own it? I owned it.
But why are you so defensive right now?
Yeah.
Because we're talking about it, right? Because I know everybody here has had something to say about my relationship with this man. But let me tell you something, okay? If you're in an international relationship, you don't cheat.
After everybody was roasting her, they were not giving her an easy time just because she got all choked up. And instead she had this really smug expression. And she had a kind of smug expression again when she was confessing to cheating on Johnny the first time around and only started to get choked up when she put her camera on her face instead of on her belly to say,
I know you don't like when I get emotional, but I need you to see how much I am upset with you not being able to come now.
Sorry, I just come outside.
I'm really upset. I really wanted you to come now.
Because if she showed Johnny how upset she was, he would drop everything and do whatever the fuck she wants. Anyway, she said, I fucking owned it. I know I fucked up. And then when Jasmine asked, did you really cheat or did you make that up? Dramatic pause. No, I cheated. Goes on Instagram. Actually, I did not cheat. Johnny and I were in an open relationship. That was not cheating. I did nothing wrong. What? So Ella posted on her Instagram, I was a little disappointed in the tell-all cast, but I respected everyone and did not lash out. However, I was attacked and unable to state that Johnny and I were in an open relationship. Second off, we had never even met, so you can be upset and think I cheated. I don't believe I did, and neither did he. Another tidbit, the only person's opinion that matters to me is Johnny.
I am going to start looking at other options, like having an open relationship.
That's not fair at all. The current situation is not caused by both of us.
If I want some sex with another guy, I feel it's hard to accept. Open relationship is not common in China, and I do not believe a relationship like that gonna be very healthy.
I'm not very okay with that because for Chinese and for Asian, and I do not think we can accept a very like open relationship like that.
When Ella told me she have a sex with another guy, it's really a shock. It's really painful and it's very sad.
就说可能是希望他可能比方说到时候就是一个开放性的一个关系。哎，我认为是非常非常难以接受这个。
If you want to follow us, our journey will continue on 90-Day Diaries. Feel free to tune in. And let me just point out that comments on this post have been limited, but yeah, this isn't what taking responsibility looks like. Yeah, I know that Ella asked for an open relationship, but that didn't seem like something that Johnny wanted to consent to at all. Comments were moderated. Some people came to Ella's defense, like, you go, girls. But I don't know. Do you think that she actually cheated on Johnny? Because I do think that she was calculating and she was actively trying to like twist him into coming to America in order to fix the relationship and in order to make things feel more urgent, because everything's very urgent for her because
I just want my person and I think he's my person and I think I'm just gonna have to wait. I don't think that my heart will let me rest if I don't give this last chance.
She's cursed. She has to be alone for these 2 years, even though it wasn't his fault that she was alone for 2 years because he was only dating her for 6 months of those 2 years and she was in another long distance relationship before him. And it's not his fault that that other long distance relationship didn't work out and that the other guy didn't give her all of that physical attention that she so desperately craved. I hate myself. How long did I talk about this trash show? I have homework. Whatever. We're ending the fucking video. I'm sorry. Bye. Hello again. I believe now I'm supposed to update you about 90-Day Diary. If you cannot tell, this is several months later. I recorded the first part of this video back in the spring, and like I said, I was so buried with homework. I didn't realize that I went on and on and on about 90 Day Fiancé and that the video would end up being like an hour long. Yeah, it took me a while to work on that, but I'm back. Here I am, and Ella and Johnny are back, and they really ought to break up. Please, God, please. Johnny still needs to quit his job to come over, and in order to do that, he needs to get a stamp from his supervisor. And if he quits his job without going through the proper procedure, then he could get blacklisted. And it'll be very hard for him to find another job in China again. So that's a big risk. That's kind of a big deal, especially since the job that he has now is paying him well. He's successful. Why turn all of that away for somebody who slept with somebody else? I cannot. And Ella is taking it personally once again. He really needs to dump her ass. And hopefully if he's able to find a Chinese woman who is okay with him being a single dad, I really hope that his parents make an effort to get along with this woman because it could be a lot worse. This Ella situation proves that it could be a lot worse. I guess some corrections that I wanted to make before, well, actually I can only think of one. The Indian guy.
There was this one guy that I met online one time, and I showed him pictures and stuff like that, but when I went to go meet him, he was like, "You're bigger than I expected. Like, I tried everything to show you that I was big, and I told you I was big." So I have that fear with Johnny.
At first, I thought that Ella said that he for sure told her directly that the reason why he didn't want to do anything sexual with her was because of her weight. She talked about an ex-boyfriend that she had when she was in her car on the way over to the gym. I rewatched that clip and I realized that she wasn't talking about the Indian guy. She was just talking about an ex-boyfriend in general, and then she projected that more onto him when she said, "Oh, I think he didn't want to do anything sexual with me because of my weight."
He refused to do anything sexual with me. And I really think that it was because of my weight.
Is it her size that's the problem? I think that her problem is her personality. I saw people call her out for lying when she said, "I don't go to restaurants, I don't do fun things because I only see couples while I'm there," because she did go to a restaurant before. But I was thinking, but what did she do when she was at that restaurant? She was bragging about her sex life with her boyfriend. She was flexing the fact that she had a boyfriend because she was insecure about going to a restaurant without her boyfriend. So I didn't actually feel like this contradicted that.
You do know that I've never been naked on video chat, and I have with him. You did well.
Let me know what you think. This was a very long video. I cannot believe that I spent this much time talking about 90 Day Fiancé. Next time I talk about a TV show, I promise I will talk about a TV show that I actually like. I want to dispel all of this negative energy and talk about something that I actually like. That might take me a minute. And I do also have those videos that I recorded several months ago and have not edited and uploaded. So I can work on that, and you can work on writing me a comment and work on watching my other videos. My last video was about dating preferences and the issue of dating somebody purely as a status symbol to show off to other people. Hey, look at this person who wants to sleep with me. Aren't I so great? That came up in the last video. I think you might like it. You can tell me, would you rather date Ella or the woman in my last video? Okay?